Yeah, hey, good afternoon. It's another episode of It's Bigger Than Business. This is Vanny Larcher with AJ Yawn, with the founder of ByteChek, right?
Yep.
Thanks for hopping in. We're just gonna hop right into it. AJ, I'm a little bit familiar about you and your story. My background. I'm a first generation American. My parents are from St. Lucia, and I grew up in Columbus, Ohio. I was born and raised there, and tech background, marketing. Uh, we also do UI UX, and pretty much around the pandemic, I started to look at different cities to live in, and Miami just kind of stood out. So I made the leap in September of 2021, and I've been here since. And you were definitely one of the founders that just kind of someone that I definitely looked up to, and just I look at it as someone leading the way in the community. So why don't you tell the folks a little bit about you and your story? And this is just really a lighthearted conversation.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on, and glad we finally got a chance to do this. I know we had some scheduling issues for a while. So I'm AJ Yawn. I'm the founder and CEO of ByteChek, a cybersecurity compliance automation company based in Miami. I've been in the cybersecurity industry for a little over a decade. Did some time in the U.S. Army, then went and did some consulting, and realized that people were paying a lot of money for compliance. So I wanted to build a product around to help companies solve some of their compliance problems. And a big part of what I'm doing is trying to be representative of what a Black founder should look like, how a Black founder acts, and hopefully inspire others to go down this path as well, because I think we need a lot more of us here. So I do a lot in the community, do a lot with my personal brand, just trying to bring awareness to what it's like to be a Black founder, but also encourage others to take this journey too.
Wow, that is awesome. So I didn't know about your background in the military. I actually just had a call with a Collaborate and Elevate member who's actively in the military right now, and he's kind of looking for, a new spark. How was that like, going from the military to going into entrepreneurship? Was there a job in between?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, there was I got out of the Army after I earned the rank of captain in 2016. And after that, I landed at this cybersecurity compliance consulting firm where I worked for 3 years and some change. But the transition out of the military is tough for anybody. You have to figure out how to translate all the stuff you've been doing in the military to something that civilians would understand. And a lot of military members struggle with that. But I will say that something that you often don't hear talked about a lot in founding a company in the startup world is leadership, and the importance of growing a team and how to lead that team and how to inspire and motivate people. And I got a crash course in leadership in the Army, going from Tallahassee, where I was at Florida State University for college. I played some basketball there. And my last year, we lost in the Sweet 16. So I went from the Sweet 16 to the Army in like 2 weeks, and then like 3 months later I was deployed. And I had like 18 soldiers I was in charge of, 23-year-old that had to grow up really fast and learn a lot about leadership. But it's helped me so much now with any tough conversations I got to have with VCs or with team members. There's not really a situation you can put me in that's going to make me nervous or feel like I can't handle it because of the military experience. So, super grateful for it. And I had a pathfinder. My dad served in the Marine Corps for 20 years. So I had someone that kind of was coaching and guiding me along the way, especially in the transition.
That is awesome. That's awesome. So have you been in South Florida your whole majority of your life for the most part, would you say?
Sort of. So I grew up, I went to school in California, in Southern California, but my father and my mother were born and raised in Miami, and I have a lot of aunts and uncles in Miami, grandma and grandpa's in Miami. So I spent a lot of my childhood in Miami. So when I moved here permanently 6 years ago, it wasn't like moving to a new city. It was like moving home. I had all the family at the house. Like it was just like, because I spent, back in the day, no one does this no more, but my parents used to put me and my brother on a plane and send us off to Miami for the summer and see us later. In the summer, you don't do that no more. But
Yeah,
so most of my summers were spent in Miami. I did spend 1 year in elementary school out in Miami. So I consider myself someone that, grew up here, but and now it's home. I've been here for 6 years now and don't see myself leaving.
that's awesome. So jumping back into cybersecurity, what was it that led you into this direction?
Yeah, it was the military. Really, I got lucky with the job that I was given in the military as a signal officer or cyber officer, and got exposed to it a lot. But as I was thinking about getting out, I saw the opportunities in the cybersecurity space and was like, oh yeah, I definitely got to take advantage of this because I have the skill set. And the thing that like really interests me in cybersecurity is how ever changing it is, and how you have to continuously stay up to date on threats, and every day is different. And it's important because I'm a real purpose driven guy. Like I need to have a reason for doing stuff. I can't just be out here while aimlessly doing things. Like I crave that purpose. Having something that like gave me a sense of purpose was really important. Was really important for me and my growth. So yeah, it's cybersecurity started in the military, and when I got out, I was like, yeah, I gotta stay in this field, and haven't
Yeah.
really back since.
Yeah, well, and for anyone's listening, I'm not in the cybersecurity field. We more do simple marketing, I would say, but we play around, with different tech development projects, and I've had the opportunity to work with different cybersecurity founders, and I've toured server rooms, and it's really like it's a very rewarding profession, and I think it's just so interesting. And like you said, there are constant new threats. There's new technology in just all types of different platforms and hardware, coming out, and it's just such it's still a very early industry, and I think a lot of help is needed. Really, just looking at how we deploy tech, almost in general. When it comes to data and like Web3. So like, how does that apply to like Web3 in Miami? Are you in both spaces, or, is it a particular niche for ByteChek?
Yeah, we're not really in the Web3 space. I have a few friends that are founders in the space, and they're doing some amazing things. But we've been, laser focused on the B2B Web2 space of just like solving a really important problem for B2B companies. And I think that's a valuable lesson for any founder. You can chase the latest industry trends, or you can be really, really good at what you do. And any founder to focus. Focus is a superpower, and we've been so focused on SOC 2 and helping companies earn SOC 2s, and eventually, we may expand. I think cyber in general is a little bit early in Web3. I think there's a lot to figure out still there, but I imagine there'll be an opportunity. And with that being said, we have a Web3 customer right now who helps companies pay their employees in crypto. So I can see it starting to come up, especially as Web3 companies like that are working with Web2 companies, especially on the B2B side, that we'll start working with them. But yeah, one of the sayings that I learned very early on in this journey is that the riches are in the niches. And the more you niche down what you're doing, the better.
No, I love that. And I love your content that you share too. It's very, kind of like how you said in the beginning, where, you're staying true to who you are and yourself. And then also sharing a lot of gems for founders as well. So, what do you think where does that come from? Does it come from, do you think, the military and instilling that vision? Or is it just, do you plan on being, like a Tony Robbins in the future? What's the next phase?
I don't. I plan on selling ByteChek for a few $1 billion and then disappearing and the most unknown rich person in the world. That's my goal. A lot of people don't believe when I say that, but they will be very surprised when it happens, I guess, because I actually don't enjoy the social media stuff. I don't enjoy the attention. I don't enjoy LinkedIn, my LinkedIn has taken off, and I've 20,000. I have a lot of followers over there, and my inbox is constantly crazy, and I don't like it. Not a big fan of it, but the reason why I started getting active on these networks, especially with ByteChek, was twofold. One, you can't just build a product and expect people to come. You have to make sure, especially at the earliest stages, as a founder, people are buying into you. Your product's not that great in the early stages. I got to break the bad news to folks. That product at the beginning, so not you that they're buying into. It's not the product they're buying into. They're buying into you as the founder, and they need to know you know how to solve this problem. And you have to do some thought leadership to do that. The other piece is, I realized when I left the Army, my soldiers were pretty distraught in that, and I saw the impact that I had on them. When I left the company I left after the Army, I realized a lot of the employees that I worked with were telling me and letting me know how much I've impacted them. And I realized that I have the opportunity now to impact a lot of people at scale. I can share some of the lessons, I can share some of the things that I've been through to hopefully help others. I talk a lot about mental health. And I think there's just not enough men, especially Black men, talk about mental health and the struggles there that we go through as Black men. So I looked at it as an opportunity to give back at scale, and have an opportunity to use my platform and my position. I used to be a person that didn't really care about titles, and obviously I'm a founder and CEO, so that title means something to others, and I don't take it lightly. I make sure that, I'm expressing things that people will be like, oh, I can't believe he said that, because he's in this position. And I want people to normalize that, like, I'm just a guy, man. Like the CEO founder title is the title that I earn the least out of every other title that I've gotten in my life. All the promotions in the Army, all the promotions at the other company, like I earned those. CEO and founder, I just called myself that one day. So it's not like I'm not like anybody anointed me that. And I want people to realize that, I'm just a regular guy that decided to take a chance and believe in something, that have a ridiculous amount of self-belief, because that's what it takes to be an entrepreneur, and just went for it. So I don't see myself becoming a Tony Robbins. I don't see myself going on speaking tours, even though I do enjoy like speaking engagements and whatnot. The startup journey is hard, and I miss my free time. I miss all of that extra time that I used to get. So
yeah, well, you said a lot of things that I could definitely relate to. I work with a lot of nonprofits and inner city, young Black children. Think, Make, Live Youth is one of them. Shout out to them. And just the mental health component, like I think we all have traumas and battles that we're going through. So when you compile that to trying to run a business, and you come up with this idea, and you're living in the idea, and then you have to bring people around, and then you're managing investors, and then I just think, and then you're a family man as well, right? I believe you have two children, right?
Yep.
So I think that that, and then especially as Black men, I think my inner circle is not something that I'm active on social. Like I've never went on social media like, oh, hey, I had therapy in 2018 for 2 years, and that really helped my whole life. But that was really the case for me. And I think anyone in my inner circle, they know that, and it was like after a breakup, I just really needed someone to talk to, but I think now just it helps having a community, and just having, and I think that's, especially the young kids. I think the young kids are way more open about just being transparent with how they feel in that moment, however awkward, they want it to get, and I think, we need, I think, living in that moment. And again, the journey, shouldn't be that hard, kind of like you said. I think it's, and congratulations, right? You're one of the few Black men in America to have raised, a few $1 million, right? If only that percent should be 10%, right? In DC, what that would do, right? I think that's the unfortunate thing, where, our ideas aren't really necessarily validated, right? Where we have to come sometimes with, a mil ARR or something like that before the idea is valuated. So that in itself could be frustrating. It's especially if you see your peers, getting, crazy valuations. And I think that's, I think now we're getting there. We're having a more supportive network. I'm looking forward to Black Tech Week in Cincinnati. I'll be there. But yeah, no, I think just having, I'm actually friends with the Black Men Talk Tech crew as well. So that's a really good crew that I like and like what they're going on. Just about getting the conversation out there more. So if you're not in there, I'm going to invite you in.
Yeah, that would be dope. I think I'm tangibly connected to some folks over there in Black Men Talk Tech. But yeah, I think we just got to hopefully more and more folks talking about it and more folks getting into the space can change that number, because it's absolutely insane that less than 1% of venture capital goes to Black founders. Like, that is crazy. And it feels like the VC community kind of just bats an eye at it and it's just like, oh yeah, that's just what it is. And it's like, nah, like that's not okay. Like, there's of us out there building. And I would say, like, Black founders go through a different journey. Even the way I started ByteChek, I didn't think I could get funding at the beginning. So I just kind of bootstrapped it with our angel investment and just kind of pushed through with that, because I was like, there's no way nobody's giving me seed capital until I get some traction, until I actually like get customers, have a validated product. But like, my competitors went out and raised 5 million on an idea and were able to get traction. You know, now I have 2 competitors that have raised over 100 million. And you know, and if anybody's wondering, yes, they are both white founded and they come from those schools, you know, so it's tough, you know, it's a tough thing. But I would say Black founders, like, I was fortunate with 82% of our investors were Black led funds or Black angels. And that matters. That helps things move along. So hopefully, you know, we can change it. But you know, also Black founders, just you got to keep going. Like, just like everything else that we've had to do in this country for 400 plus years, is like, you really got to get it out the mud and figure it out. Hopefully we can change that over time.
Definitely. Well, you know, AJ, I appreciate you. I think this is a great way to end it off. And I think, you know, I definitely know it is changing. I think a year ago, you know, I couldn't really think about having a podcast and a conversation. So just, you know, this podcast, we're coming up on our year anniversary right now. So it's just all about, you know, connecting the community and putting them in front of, you know, people that are doing some amazing things. So thank you everyone for tuning in to another episode of It's Bigger Than Business. Take care.